Hello guys, welcome to my channel Love to Learn. In this video, I want us to learn about solid design principles. Okay, solid design principles is an object-oriented approach that applied to software structure design. It is conceptualized by Robert C. Merton. These five principles have changed the world of object-oriented programming and also changed the way of writing software. Okay, and let's start guys. Single responsibility principle. The single responsibility principle states that every Java class must perform a single functionality. Implementation of multiple functionalities in a single class mash up the code, and if any modification is required, it may affect the whole class. It preserves the code and code can be easily maintained. Guys, now I just finished with my theoretical explanation. Now I will show you the example practically. Okay. If you observe here, I have a class social network. It may be Facebook or Instagram or anything guys. Okay. Let's assume like I was writing some code for a social network platform. Okay. And if you observe here, I have three methods. Upload profile picture, send friend request, create a story. Which means this class having multiple responsibilities. Okay. But if you observe our single responsibility principle, it is saying that every Java class must perform only a single functionality. It means our code is violating this single responsibility principle. Now what we want to do means we want to segregate this single like this class according to the single responsibility principle. Okay. So now what I am doing means I will be creating separate classes here. Okay. Okay. Let me create a class guys. New class, and I want to name it as friend request. Okay. And I want to just cut this code and I want to paste this here. Okay. And let me copy this method guys. And I want to create another class. The class name is story, right? Okay. Now it is having a single functionality. Okay. Single responsibility. Now what I want to do means just I want to rename this class. Profile picture. I am renaming it to profile pic. Now it's done guys, almost done. And if you observe these classes guys, now every class is having a single responsibility, means these classes are following single responsibility principle. I think so now you understand the single responsibility principle. Open close principle. The open close principle states that according to the new requirements, the module should be open for extension but closed for modification. When the beginner's requirement changed, then entity can be extended but not modified. If you not follow OCP, it will break single responsibility principle. Guys, it is a most important point. It means if you are not following the open close principle, it will also break single responsibility principle too. So definitely you want to follow this open close principle. What it is saying, the module should be open for extension but closed for modification. I don't know like you may understand or not by seeing this theory, but now I will show you an example in practical. Okay, then you can clearly understand this. Okay, if you observe here, I have a class authentication service. Let's assume like I was writing code for some Facebook authentication, like we will enter the username and password, right? And for the authentication service, like for the authentication purpose, I was writing the code, and in my class I have created a method authenticate by username and password. Okay, up to now let's assume like up to now Facebook is using only username and password for authentication purpose. Okay, and now normally right, you know, right, in the application we have updates, right? Like that only we have some Facebook is asking us to add some new functionalities, right? Authenticate by OTP, authenticate by mail notification, like that. Okay, but as we know in open close principle, the class should be open for extension but not modification. Okay, but if you want to authenticate by OTP or authenticate by mail, we want to modify this code, guys. Like we want to modify this code, but it is against open close principle. It means like how we can say means we are violating the open close principle. So what I want to do means I want to create an interface. Okay, authenticator. Here I want to create a method, public void authenticate. Okay, now what I want to do means I want to create some classes. Okay, authenticate by OTP, and I want to add this interface here. Okay, just I was clicking on the finish. Okay, and I'm getting some error. Let's see what it is. Okay, yep, just I want to save it. Okay, now what I want to do, as I said, I have some new requirement like authenticate by email also. Okay, I was just creating a class for that, and I want to add this interface authenticator. Let's click on finish, guys. Okay, and I want to rename it authenticate by username and password. Okay, here what I want to do means I want to implement it with my interface. Okay, I want to remove this method. If you observe this, now we have added this, we have created an interface and we are creating the class based on our requirement. Means we are not modifying anything, right? We are not modifying anything. We are just extending the classes, extending the classes based on our requirement. I think so you guys got it, right? Liskov substitution principle. The Liskov substitution principle was introduced by Liskov. It applies to inheritance in such a way that the derived classes must be completely substitutable for their base classes. Okay, if class A is subtype of class B, then we should be able to replace B with A without interrupting the behavior of the program. Guys, I will explain this example by like I will explain a practical example. Then you can clearly understand this Liskov substitution principle. Okay, let's assume like I am writing code for some like how I can say some web application where I have two logins. One is login for admin and one is login for user. Okay, and here user can only log in with username and password, and admin can only log in with OTP. Okay, let's assume the functionality is like that. So what I want to do means first of all I want to implement it with my authenticator class. And let's implement it. Again I want to create a class for user login. Okay, again here I want to implement it with authenticator class. Let's implement this method. If you observe guys, this admin needs only authenticate by OTP method as you have only functionality like you have only need for login with OTP, means he cannot log in with the username and password. He can log in with OTP only, and user don't need this authenticate with OTP method because he have only option to log in with the username and password. So what is happening here, we cannot substitute this admin class with authenticator interface, which is the super one. Okay, this is the super, and here also we cannot substitute it with the authenticator. Okay, it means it is violating the Liskov substitution principle. So what we want to do means I want to create some two interfaces. Okay, authenticate by OTP, and I want to rename it authenticate by username. Okay, just I was giving like username. Okay, let's rename it as username password only. You can clearly understand based on that. Username and password. Okay, and now what I want to do means here I want to create the abstract method. Okay, and as it is the admin one, he can log in with OTP only. I want to implement it with authenticate by OTP method. Okay, and if it is user, he can log in with username and password only. So I was removing this one. So what is happening here? It is not violating Cisco substitution principle, as they can substitute it by the super classes, right? I think so. Now you guys got it. Interface segregation principle. The principle states that larger interfaces split into smaller ones because the implementation classes use only the methods that are required. We should not force the client to use the methods that they don't want to use. It means we want to create the larger interface into the smaller ones, and we cannot force our client to use the methods which they don't want to use, right? And I will show you a practical implementation, then you can understand this interface segregation principle clearly. Okay, let's assume like I was designing two social network platforms. One is WhatsApp and one is Facebook. Okay, let me create some classes here. One is WhatsApp, and here what I want to do is I want to extend it with this social network abstract class. Okay, I'm adding my unimplemented methods. Again, I was creating a class Facebook. Okay, again what I want to do means I want to extend it with my social network class, abstract class. Again here I am implementing the methods from social network abstract class. If you observe here guys, I have three methods, which means this class is performing three functionalities, like it is sending status, it is like it is writing the functionality to work voice call, and it is writing some code for sending the message to another user. If you observe here also we have some, like it is performing, this class is performing three functionalities, like we can send message, and it means we are writing some code for sending message, and we are writing some code for like calling someone by voice call. Okay, and if you observe here we have some functionality status. If you observe in status, like in Facebook we don't have any functionality like sending status. In WhatsApp only we have the functionality for sending status, but in Facebook we are implementing it because in social network we have that method, means we are forcing our client to implement this method, which means it is violating the interface segregation principle. So what I want to do means I want to create two interfaces, which is status. Okay, and I want to create a method here, public void status, and again I want to create another interface, message and voice call. Okay, here I want to copy these methods. Okay, now I will be removing this abstract class guys. Okay, now what I want to do means I want to implement it with our interfaces. Okay, one is status and another one is our message and voice call. Okay, as we can see here there is no use of status, right? Then what we can do, we can easily remove this, as we don't have need of that. Means now we are not forcing our client to use this status method. Okay, means by segregating the interface we can achieve this interface segregation principle. Dependency inversion principle. High level module should not depend on low level module. Okay, high level module should not depend on the low level module, but both should depend upon abstraction. It means the low level and high level module should depend on abstraction. Here the main point is we have to create an abstract layer, okay, abstraction layer for removing the dependency, okay, and abstraction should not depend on detail, but detail should depend on abstraction. Now I will explain you a practical example, guys, then you can clearly understand. Okay, let's assume like I have created a employee management system web application. Okay, in my web application I have a class manager and I have another class developer. If you observe in this developer class I have a method, okay, work. It means normally what is happening means manager will be monitoring the developer work every day. Okay, but what is happening if you observe here, the manager is manages the developer work. Let's assume like I have recruited a new employee which is an architect. Okay, okay, and if I want to write code for this architect management also, then I want to create some another reference variable and I have to create some another setters and I have to create some another management method, but it means the code is tightly coupled. I don't want this, guys. I want to create some abstraction layer. Okay, I'll show you how to create that abstraction layer. Okay, and first of all let's copy this here and let's write a message like I'm architect. Okay, let's create an interface here. Interface is employee interface and it has some method, some abstract method, public void work. Here what I want to do means here I want to implement it with employee method. Okay, sorry, employee interface. Again here also in the architect class also I want to implement this class with this employee interface. Okay, now here what I want to do means I want to replace the developer reference with employee reference. Okay, now I will show you, guys, just give me a few seconds. I will show you how to remove this dependency. Okay, and employee.work. Okay, and let's create a main class for testing it. While testing I will show you how the dependency is removed. Okay, let's create a reference for manager. Manager is equal to manager, and let's create reference employee reference I want to create now. Okay, and employee equal to new developer. And now what I want to do means to manager I want to set the reference of employee. Okay, and here I want to call this manage method. Sorry guys, here I have some modification. The manager class, okay, it is set emp. Now it's fine, right? Here also I want to change it. Now a text class. Now I want to call this manager method. Okay, now let's assume like I want to manage the architect class. Okay, now what I can do, I will just replace it with architect and I will set this reference like this. And now let's run this application. If you observe, I'm architect means he can now manage employee, architect, or any number of employees. Let's assume like we are hiring some product owner or product manager, project manager, anyone. Now if that classes implement this employee interface, they can easily managed by the manager. It means we have created some common abstraction layer. Okay, then it will be used for the manager, for the managing purpose. I think so now you guys got it. If you have any queries, please comment it in comment section.